Hey, I'm Alex Palou, and this is The Skinny.
From the Fatheads Eyewear Studios in Speedway, Indiana, this is The Skinny. Brought to you by Toyota, Rhino Classifieds, General Tire, and Dream Giveaway. This segment of The Skinny is brought to you by General Tire. It's more than just a slogan. Anywhere is possible with General Tire. General Tire's Grabber X3 mud terrain tire offers aggressive styling and is engineered for durability with innovative performance features that are ready to carry you through extreme mud, dirt, and rock-covered terrain. For extreme traction that's ready for anything and rugged styling to match, look no further than the Grabber X3. Make your anywhere possible by visiting GeneralTire.com today. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching The Skinny. We have a very exciting driver on here today to join us. He is the hottest driver on the NTT IndyCar Series as it stands right now. Comes in here as a points leader, brand new to the Chip Ganassi Racing Team, behind the wheel of the number 10. Just picked up his second win of the season at Road America. Kicked off his first career win at Alabama a little bit earlier in the season. And we will certainly talk about his Indy 500 efforts because he qualified very strong, decided to go back out, ate a little bit of the wall, came back, qualified a little bit better, and then damn near won this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Alex Palou.
Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Pretty cool stuff, man. Boy, what a season you're having. Hey, before we get going any further, I want to ask you something because I was reading a little bit. From your culture, do they call you Alex Palou at home, or is it Palou Montalbo?
So in Spain, we use like two surnames, the surname from the second name from dad and from mom, not like here in the US. So they normally use Palou, but we still have the second surname, which is the surname of my mom there. I don't know why, because we don't really use it, but in all the documents and everything, we have to use it.
So it's basically two last names. So do they still call you Alex when you're at home? Is that your first name at home?
Yeah, it's just Alex. Yeah, it's just Alex and Palou. That's it.
Yeah, I was reading about this. It's kind of cool. Just different cultures, you know, how they interact. So, man, congratulations. What an incredible season you're having here.
Yeah, so we've been having a good start so far. It's been amazing to join the number 10 crew and all the Chip Ganassi Racing Team. I think we've done some good races, some so-so races as well. But yeah, we were always able to get up and perform the next day. And as you said, at the Indy 500, we had some bad moments, but we were able to get back on and still have good results. So super happy so far. It's good that we're leading the championship. It's always good that everybody's chasing us, but we need to be leading the championship at the end of the championship. So yeah, we have to keep it going until the end, and hopefully we can be one of those champions.
Yeah, baby steps for sure. My partner here, Rico, he always has the same question that he loves to ask these drivers like yourself that have made it to the highest levels and their humble beginnings. So, Rico, you're the master at this deal, and we'd love to know more about Alex.
So, Alex, how did you get started? Where did it all begin?
So I started when I was 5. I'm not coming from a family that had any racing background or any sport background. And I started just because there's a really small go-karting place in between my house and my school. So I used to pass there 2 times a day, every day. And I used to see all these people like doing laps for fun. So I guess that one day I decided that I wanted to try, and I was so small that I couldn't reach the pedals. So my family, all my family, my uncles, my grandfathers, they decided to buy me a small, really old go-kart for my 5th birthday. And we started there. We didn't know anything about sport, about racing, about driving, about anything. And we started just me, my dad, and my family. And yeah, now we're here.
I love it. I was just talking with our last guest about Marcus Ericsson and his beginnings, and it was interesting. Much of the same. There's a lot of families that say, "Well, he wants to race. Let's buy a go-kart and see how it goes." And Marcus was talking about, them traveling around, Europe in the back of his dad's paint van. And I mean, I love that story. And I'm sure that you have one much of the same or similar. I mean, it's a family taking a leap of faith and trying to do something that they thought you would love. So where all did you guys travel? How far out did you go? And how did all that work out?
Yeah, so it was tough at the beginning. Obviously, my parents, they were super young. My mom was 19 when they had me, so they didn't really had any experience at all. But we started around Barcelona and around those areas. Then we moved a bit further in Spain with our own band and our own things, and then we started traveling step by step to Italy. Which Italy, let's say, it's the international base of go-karting, like all the big races happens there. So we started traveling there, and then we found some good teams there, and yeah, I think it was all step by step, and we didn't plan anything. We didn't know what was the next step, but we always had somebody that was either helping us or just following us or giving us some opportunities. So I don't know how far we went. I think yeah, maybe Italy, which is not too far if you think about US, because in US, if you want to move from state to state, it's already more than from Spain to Italy. But for us there in Europe, it's a long travel from Spain to Italy.
So how old were you when somebody said, "Hey, this kid's got some real talent. He can really drive a car." Were you still in karts?
Yeah, so I'm not coming from a really healthy family, wealthy family. But I remember that when I was 6 or maybe almost 7, the go-karting that I was running and that I started running, they had a team. So they gave me an opportunity to do one of those big races. And then once we were there, another bigger team gave us the opportunity to go to Spain and step by step like that. And then I think I was 14 when Adrian Campos, that was an F1 driver before, they had an F3 team back in Spain, and they allowed me to do a test for them for my first time, and they liked it. So we did 3 seasons together, and that's how I went from go-karting to like single seaters.
So how old were you then when you transferred out of go-karting to the F3?
I would say I was 15. Yeah, I think I was 15 or 16. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure now, but yeah, 15 or 16.
That's awesome.
So clearly, you were a quick learner. You started putting things together, and then only a couple of years later, and you were in the Euro Formula Open Championship, 2014. So really, just 7 years ago, you were really getting up on the wheel and kind of chasing points, if you will, at a national level. Correct?
Yeah, so that's when I first did my first test was with an F3 for Adrian, and that Euro Formula 3 was my first year in single seaters, and yeah, 7 years ago. So it's crazy how fast was it, right? Like it seems yesterday, and yeah, it's only 7 years ago, but I learned a lot, and yeah, we are able to still learn a lot. Like it's amazing now to be sharing teams with like guys like Scott Dixon, that I can learn so much from him, but we still have a long way to learn.
He seems like he kind of knows what's going on, that Dixon kid.
Yeah. If Scott sticks with it, I think he's
going to be
got a
something.
future. Yeah, he's
got
be
a future
something.
in this. So yeah, Scott's a friend and has been on the show as well, and him and Robbie Fast, and we're trying to get us, of course, Felix and Marcus, trying to get us to get going on them with the Swedish jokes, and so it was. As usual, more driven by Robbie than anyone. So
you're so do you have a large family back in Spain?
No, really. I have just one sister, and then I have some. Yeah, all my family is they are still really young, but only one sister, no brothers, and no more sisters.
Aunts and uncles.
I do have yeah, two uncles, and they have kids now, so it's growing. It's starting to grow. Like my uncle is like 34, so they are still really young. Like all my family is super young, so that's why it's still developing. Let's say.
The reason I ask is I can just see them. I know you mentioned how young your parents were when you got going. I can just see the enthusiasm and the passion from your family as you're making this fast track up to IndyCar. They have to be so excited to watch you have enjoy so much success. And I mean, forget about now. Of course, now they're going to be very excited. But even in your ranks, working your way up through and seeing you be so successful, it has to be very exciting for them.
Yeah, for sure. We had some really exciting moments, but at the same time, we had some really hard moments, to be honest. Like we didn't had money to even do a test in single seater. So it's not like we were depending on ourselves to continue doing it. And you need to have experience to be able to show what you're able to do or how you think you're able to do. So we were always depending on sponsors, which everybody pretty much is, but it's hard to get into a team already since some money. So yeah, we had some tough moments where before I was going to Japan for my F3 year, I didn't had a job until February of that season. So I thought from October to January, February that was over, that my racing career was over. So for sure, my parents, they were not enjoying that much. I was not enjoying that much, but yeah, we had some luck to be able to continue our career and making steps.
So tell me about the day Chip calls.
I think it started in Indy 500 2020, so last year. I don't know why, but I always had so much admiration for Chip. I saw a documentary back when I was in Japan and when I was following everything, every news about the IndyCar. And I don't know, the way he drives the team, the way he motivates the team, and the way he pushes everything, and the way that he is, like as he says, he only has racing, and that's his life. And he has his NASCAR team, he has his IndyCar team, he has now his IMSA team, he has the Extreme team, and he just goes from race to race, and that's it. That's what he does, and he loves it. So Indy 500 2020, I saw him at the paddock, and I was like, hey Chip, like, this is Alex, like, I would love to drive one day for you. And I think that started. Then we had the good Indy 500 last year. We had some couple good races, and he called us. Everything was done maybe just before the last race of the season last year. So it came quite late also, but the day that they call, obviously it's amazing. Like, you'd never think that they are going to give you the opportunity to drive the champion car, and to be able to share teams with Scott and Marcus. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's quite the fairy tale, if you will. But so, did your folks? Do they get to come over and catch much of it, or come over and watch you run, or how's that work?
No, unfortunately, only my mom, my sister, and my dad, they were able to come at some races because they had a special permission just to, because they are my parents. But I cannot get any other family. I cannot get any friends. I have my girlfriend here, but now with COVID, it's still not allowed to travel. So I'm waiting until they open finally, and some of my friends are able to come and enjoy IndyCar.
So I'm with Rico here. I'm gonna ask the same question, but I'm gonna step back a year to 2019. I think it was. You had an opportunity to test for Dale, and Dale Coyne just seems to have that magical eye where he keeps an eye on young talented drivers coming up looking for an opportunity, and seems to be able to provide that to some fortunate individuals. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 2019 when you got an opportunity to test for Dale Coyne. How did that one come about? Did you reach out to him, or did he reach out to you?
Yeah, that's it's true. If it was not because of Delcoin and all the sponsors that helped us to make last year, or the first test, that I wouldn't be here today. But I think it was a bit of a luck thing because I was driving for Honda in Japan. I had really good relationship with them, and we were winning some races there. They were super happy. So I was always saying like, "Hey, yeah, I'm super happy here in Japan. I love Japan, but my dream is to go to IndyCar." They were like, "Whoa, like it's not to go to F1." Like all the drivers were asking to go to F1 or to test an F1. And I was just the only one saying like, "Hey, just give me a car in IndyCar, just a test." And so they had obviously relationship with Dale because they have Honda. I had Roger Yasukawa. I had my management team that was able to get in touch with Dale, and they made it happen. Honda, Dale, everybody was giving me the opportunity to test at Mid Ohio. Was actually it was a good test, and then we moved from there. I didn't expect that last year was gonna be already the year that we were moving to IndyCar. But yeah, again, some luck, and we were able to race last year.
I would say it's not luck at this point.
Well, I'm with you. I mean, as you
There
watch
is-
a guy progress, we're a little bit older, so it might seem lucky to him. But yeah.
there is some luck. There is some luck, but I think somebody's downplaying their abilities here, and what a talent he is to begin with. So
Couldn't agree more.
No, but to be honest,
funny.
it's so hard, motorsport. It's super hard, and I always had somebody that was able to give me the opportunity to do the next step, and it was not only because of what I did. Like the opportunity that Chip gave me for this year, it's unbelievable. I don't think I did an amazing season to deserve the number 10, but he saw something, and obviously I went for it, and it worked out. But as I said, I had so many people during my career that was able to give me one more chance, one more step, that I think I had some luck. I'm a lucky guy, and yeah, I take it. Like for sure we had some good races, but I had some luck as well.
we're going to get him to buy some lottery tickets. All this luck.
I tried, it doesn't work.
Hey, you used it all up with your career, making it to IndyCar,
Yeah.
which is good. That's a
better deal.
Yeah, it's a better deal for all of us, man. We're really glad you did. I find it very intriguing as well that you did have a desire to come to IndyCar versus Formula One, because certainly I'm not adverse in what is going on in Spain. I've never been there, but I would think that you guys would be more in tune with motorsports racing programming on television, or what you're watching in Spain with Formula One, than you would with IndyCar. So fill me in a little bit. Were you watching IndyCar races at home as a young man?
Yeah, I was, and I started obviously because my dad used to have a look at the Indy 500. But yeah, once I grew up and I was in single seaters, maybe a bit before, and I started realizing what were my options to be a professional race car driver and to live from driving. For me, the biggest dream I could have was IndyCar. For me, F1, yeah, you can get there. We all know it's the most. They have the fastest cars, they have the more money, but I think it's only 22 drivers. They only take drivers that either have really good money or really good sponsors backing them, or that they had it before, because otherwise you cannot win races in F2 or F3 on junior series. If you are not with the best teams, you're not going to win. So IndyCar was like the highest target I could dream of, which was still a big dream for me. And I think it's probably the most competitive championship out there, not only because we have the same cars, but also because we race on street course, road course, and ovals. And I think the guy that is a champion at the end of the year, it's a pretty fast guy. So that's why I was so into IndyCar. They are racing in the US, which is awesome. That was a dream of mine, to be able to be here in the US. So yeah, made all happen.
So tell us about it, because we asked this question too. Tell us about coming out of turn 4 at Indy down the front straightaway.
First time.
First time.
First time. It's insane. It's insane just because those first laps, you realize how fast you are. Like you see the stickers at the walls, you see that there's some people, and you pass them like so quickly. I mean, people in the stands, and you are those laps. You're not only concentrated on driving. You the first time you look around, so you realize how fast you are, and man, it's scary, like going into turn one, and you know you have to be flat out, but there's no way you can do it on the first 10 laps. So the car is not easy to drive. The speed, it's super high, and it's scary but super amazing at the same time. You're driving that car to the limit, and the tire starts to slide, and you get closer to a wall, and it's amazing. For driver, I think you cannot get better than that. Like you're putting everything to the limit. So yeah, it's amazing to drive an IndyCar.
Yeah, Marcus was talking about it. He said it's like driving into a tunnel. He said it feels like it all closes down on you after you come out of turn four.
Yeah, that's true. But I think that's more like when you are already like after one day. At the beginning, you look around at everything, just because you're not used to, and everything goes so fast. So then you get up to speed, you get comfortable, and yeah, it's true that we only see the track and that's it, and we focus so much, and that helps us not realize how fast we're going, and to concentrate on details. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's a totally different driving style and sensations that what we have in other tracks.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, I definitely want to reel in on this 500 deal for you. Before we go there, though, you certainly honed your craft over there in Europe. I mean, you grabbed a win at the Nürburgring, Circuit of Barcelona. You saw some highs, saw some lows there. You bookend the season in 2014 with a couple of wins. But I know you mentioned before that if you weren't with the best teams and the best cars over there in F3, F2, that you weren't going to win. And I believe I read where you were struggling. I want to say maybe you were still in F3, but you were struggling. You felt like your straight line speed just was not there. And I want to say a few races into the season, you guys made an engine change, and boom, all of a sudden, right to the front of the pack you went.
Yeah, that was in F3, and yeah, I remember that. We used to have like different engine manufacturers as well, and also in Japan. But I don't know. I feel like you can win some races in small teams, but you cannot win championships, in my opinion. And if you do, you are either really, really good, or that team is not that small. At least in Europe, to be honest, there's a big difference on budgets, and that's why I think it's super tough. Which I'm not saying I'm not an F3 champion because of that. But yeah, we had some changes that went really well. Then we went to GP3 that went really bad. But then I started my career in Japan, and that was really good. And since then, I think we're having really good seasons.
By the way, I agree with Rico. And there is always luck involved. We all know that, and you've got to be on the lucky side of this thing to go forward. It does play a role, but a lot of times we believe you breed your own luck. And like you said, you were over in Japan. You had some good success. You were doing a good job. Honda liked you. You wanted to come to IndyCar in the States. There was a relationship there with Dale and Honda. So all of those things merged together. But I still think you had to earn your way. You know, you had to earn your right. And had you not been over there committed to that series and turning in some good results, I don't think that opportunity opens for you. I think it goes to somebody else. So I think you've earned a lot of your luck, if you want to call it that. I mean, it's an awesome. I mean, the short span of time that we just talked about in 7 years to go from Euro Formula to come to IndyCar is nothing short of exceptional.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, what can I say? Thank you for those words. But yeah, I mean, I think it's super hard to go from Spain or Europe to Japan. Like, you need to have some really good moments around you. Like, yeah, you have to have some good races, but the guy that is in charge of getting you from Europe to Japan has to be wanting to do that. And then the guy or the guys or the people that are able to make me go from Japan to US and directly to IndyCar, everything has to go right. Like if they have a bad day and they decide no, that's not going to happen, then you're done. That's why I think I had some good luck. It was good timing. I think if I had my racing career here in the US, you have so many more opportunities because everybody knows you. If it doesn't work out with one team on the junior series, you can go to the other one, or then to have some tests in IndyCar. But what I did, I think what we did was pretty rare. Like you don't see guys from Europe to Japan and Japan to IndyCar, and then that's what I mean, that we had some really good timing and some luck as well. But yeah, we did a good job so far.
Some really good time, and Rico and I just had this conversation with our previous guest. Maybe a little divine intervention. I think there was a plan there all along the way. So we're going to take a quick break here, man. We'll let you get something to drink, and we'll be right back on the other side with more from Alex Palou. This segment of The Skinny is brought to you by Dream Giveaway. Dream Giveaway has been giving away high-end American muscle cars to raise money for charity since 2007. Dream Giveaway is known for giving away classic and new muscle and paying the federal taxes so the winners don't have to. For $25, you can jump in the game, and part of that goes to charity. You'll have a chance at winning some of the coolest cars on the planet. Check it out at dreamgiveaway.com. Once again, welcome back to The Skinny. We have Alex Palou on the show here today. Couldn't be happier to have the young Spaniard on here, and what an incredible season he is having so far. Comes in here leading in the points in this 2021 season, chasing his first career championship in the IndyCar Series. Alex, let's go back and talk about the Indianapolis 500 this year because, oh my goodness, man, it was magical. It was quite the roller coaster ride for you, from highs to lows, back to almost the highest of highs. But you come out, you have a great practice week. I think all the Ganassi cars did, and I think all the Ganassi cars were in the Fast 9, if I'm not mistaken, at the end of Saturday. But whenever we took a look at you, you came out, you qualified 7th. You were, seventh. I don't know if you're safely in, but we felt like you were pretty safely in. But you were not happy with it, man. You wanted to go out and better your mark a little bit, and a lot of people were scratching their heads, dude. It was late in the day. It was hot. They felt like the track had slowed down a bit, but you were confident that you could go get a little bit more, and you got some. It just wasn't what you were hoping for.
Yeah, Indy 500 this year was a roller coaster, but yeah. We had, as you said, such a good week of training, and I was so sure that our car was the best. Like it was clearly the best. The 4 Chip Ganassi racing cars, and our first run didn't really go quite well. So I said, "Hey guys, let's go again." We just obviously took some downforce and went for it. It was super hot, and Julian, my engineer, was like, "Are you sure you want to go out?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's go." Like that's. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like we come in and we'll wait until the end of the day. So we went out. First lap was faster than my previous first lap. So I was gonna jump, I think, like 2 or 3 positions. So that was like the target. Second lap was okay, and third lap, we crashed. We touched the wall quite hard, and yeah, that was a big low. I think just because I could have avoid it, but I thought that it was going to be okay, which now I learned. I know that that's not going to happen at Indianapolis. Maybe it can happen at Road America or Mid-Ohio, but you cannot control a car at Indianapolis. Once it goes, it goes. So I felt super bad just because I thought I lost the chance to fight for pole, which we had a car to fight for pole, and the mechanics did such an amazing job on putting that car together from December to May, or even from earlier. So I felt super bad. I knew all the work and all the hours and all the effort that they put in. But then we said, okay, it's done. Like I did a mistake. It's all right. We learned from it. And we had another chance to go for Fast 9. And yeah, we didn't fight for pole, but at that moment, it felt like pole to get one more position with a repaired car, with a driver that just crashed at the Indy 500 quite hard. So I felt super good, and then we went out on the race, and we tried. It was not enough, but we tried.
So let's walk back through that lap 3 that you spoke of. Did you feel the car wiggle? I'm guessing you've watched the video over and over and over again now, but a little bit of a wiggle there in turn number 1 where it was telling you like,
Yeah.
I'm about done right here, and then turn 2, obviously it ate it.
Yeah, it was not a small wiggle, it was a big wiggle. But I said maybe the tires can take it, and I can adjust my tools after turn 2. And I normally turn 2 it's a bit easier than turn 1. So I said I made it to turn 1, so let's do turn 2. And after turn 2, I reset all my tools, and maybe I come in, like, let's see. But yeah, that moment never came. But yeah, I mean, it's something that I never had, that sensation of losing the rear at Indianapolis, and yeah, I guess I know now what I don't have to feel like. Normally, Dario would used to tell me, like, if your ass tells you that the car is not gonna stick, it's not gonna stick, okay? And I was like, yeah, don't worry. But then my ass told me that it was not gonna stick, and I didn't listen. So I know now, if my ass tells me, Alex, that's not gonna work out, I'm gonna say, okay, let's
Yeah, I
we
trust
have
you on
more.
this.
I'll listen second time around. Smart young man. So you come back in, and we've had Hinchcliffe on this show. Clearly had a nasty crash there, and was able to come back the following year and put it on pole. I look at somebody like you that goes through that incident on Saturday. As you talked about the mechanics on your team, I mean, just unbelievable how talented they are. They thrash all night. You go back out in that Sunday morning practice. You get a feel for the car, shake it all down. Everything's pretty good. And then obviously Fast 9 later on Sunday, and you go out there and, like you said, you picked up a spot. But I marvel at the enormous amount of courage that it takes to get back into a car when the last time you were in it, you just ate the wall, stand on that thing flat-footed. I mean, you guys, your terminal speed, I believe, was 240 miles an hour down the straightaway going into turn number 1, like you were saying. And to get back in and just absolutely go for it, I just don't understand how you can do it.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing is that the team did a tremendous job overnight to be able to fix a car that was prepared for so long, and just fix it in less than 24 hours, and being able to make it fast. Like, normally a repaired car shouldn't be that fast, to be honest. And then for myself, if the mechanics were able to do it, why I shouldn't be able to just trust on what they did and what the engineers did? Like, the car was gonna stick. It didn't stick the day before because it was super hot. We were running super trim, and it didn't have to stick at that moment. So we just had to have confidence. I gotta say that, yeah, I had no confidence. Like, my entire body was like super tight. I was like, oh my God, please stick. And it was like 4 laps. Those 4 laps, they took for so long. So I was scared. Like, those 4 laps probably were my worst laps of my entire life, because I knew I had to be flat, but you don't want to crash again. And everybody's in the limit. If you wanna finish P9 on Fast 9, yeah, you can just be relaxed. But I didn't want that. I thought that the team deserved better. I thought that I had to show something for Chip, and we tried. I was not still happy because we did P6 when our car was easy in the top 3. But it is what it is. Once we did that mistake, the only thing we could do was to get up and to work for it. So we took 1 spot, which felt good, and yeah, I had some days to get up to speed, to get some confidence, and go to a race.
So one last question on this incident here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you guys were not able to fix that same tub that you wrecked, if you had to go to a backup car, you would have fallen out of the Fast 9. Is that correct?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I
Maybe.
think it
I
goes
don't
by the
know. To be
number.
honest, I don't know.
Just by the car number, I
Yeah.
think is what it goes
I,
by,
I,
not the actual
I remember I was
specific
talking about it a
car.
little bit when it was happening, and I didn't know if because you crashed, if you could get if you could lose your spot there or not. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on, man, and it was a huge moment, and you rose to the occasion. The team certainly rose to the occasion, but you were the final piece of the puzzle. And hats off to you, man. That was not an easy task to go out there and do what you did.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
thank you.
in the Road America, I was up there for that event, and man, what a wild course! I mean, it is fast. I mean, it is way fast, and so Newgarden was having issues with his gearbox. Did you have anything for him otherwise?
It's always tough to say, right? Like now, I think we were getting faster and faster throughout the race. Every stop we were making, it was really good pit stops, but we were making changes to the car. I was adjusting my tools with the car to make it faster, and we were getting super close. Like the last two runs, we were just there following, like less than half a second New Garden. So my idea was like we had like 4 laps or 3 laps left. My idea was to make him burn some push to pass on the first lap and then try on the last lap something. Like you never know what's gonna happen. But at least we were there. We took the opportunity we had, and it worked out for us. Good points. A win is always a win. And anyway, we were up there, so felt great.
Yeah, nobody will ever look at it how you won, but they'll know that you did win. So
Yeah.
that's the cool part of it. And I absolutely love that course. I mean, just a beautiful place altogether. And watching you guys, what's it called down at the bottom, the back side of that, where it's so fast and
The carousel
yeah,
through Canada Corner.
yeah,
and,
Canada
The
corner.
carousel.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was absolutely the first time I ever went there. I was just amazed with the place, and I understand the place in Alabama is pretty on point as well. So neat places to win for sure.
Yeah, they are really good places. I think, well, I always said Road America is my favorite track here in the US. I think it's awesome. It's super big. There's some really good overtaking spots. You have some tire deck, which you want for racing, some curbs you can attack, and some really high speed corners. So it's super nice to drive. Then Barber, it's super fast. Like it's insane the amount of G's we take there, and it's super tough. But I don't say it's my favorite, probably because we don't have so many overtaking points. So for racing, it's harder. But I love Barber obviously as well. And once you have a good result there, everything feels much better. Everything feels awesome. Even if there's some bad guys around the track, you feel like you're in love with everybody. So yeah, I love those tracks. But Road America stays as my favorite. My second favorite is Mid Ohio, and hopefully we can make it even more favorite.
I've got a question for you. So going into Road America, your confidence level had to be sky high because you're climbing into the 10 car that Felix had won in previously in 2020. So same team. You've got Julian and all that brain power back there, and you know you're going to get into the car that won the previous year. That had to be pretty exciting, man, and build your confidence.
Yeah, for sure. It always helps. I mean, but the thing is that I have this confidence going to every weekend, like being able to. It's amazing the job that all the mechanics, all the engineers, and everybody from Chip Ganassi Racing. It's amazing the job that they can do. That they just give me a car that is able to fight for wins every weekend. So yeah, it gives more confidence if you know that both Scott and Felix won in 2020. But that's pretty much the feeling we get every weekend. So it's more up to me to be able to get up to speed quickly enough to have enough confidence. But normally we've been having really good cars, especially on the races. So I cannot complain about that. But yeah, now for example, going to Mid Ohio, they didn't have such a great races there last year. But I'm still really confident, not because of Road America, but just because I know that the car is going to be good. we're just gonna be we're gonna have enough time with 2 free practices to get it more to my style or what I like to be able to push, and we'll go from there.
We're going to take a quick break here and pause for just a moment. When we come back, we'll get some final questions here with a young Spaniard that always has a smile on his face. This segment of The Skinny is brought to you by Rhino Classifieds. Tired of all those ads and random stuff that shows up when you're looking to buy or sell your car parts? Rhino Classifieds was created just for you. Welcome to a streamlined buying and selling app created by racers for racers and race fans. Modified cars, classic cars, race cars, that special big block you need, the trailer to move your baby around the country in. We got you at rhino.co. Once again, welcome back to The Skinny. Alex Palou has joined us here. We appreciate all of his time. A very busy man, by the way. We thought we'd have him on a little bit earlier in the day, but last-minute schedule put you behind the wheel of the sim. I heard you say you were doing some iRacing. So I was thinking when you were on the sim that you were actually doing some testing for the team, maybe trying to come up with a setup for this coming weekend at Mid-Ohio. Was it something other than that?
It was both. It was both of them. So I spent like all my morning till like 3 p.m. at the sim today preparing Mid-Ohio. It went a bit longer than we first planned, but then I had a commitment on iRacing. Like I do my Twitch streamings and I do my races on iRacing just for fun, and it's also good training. So that's why I was a bit busy today, a bit busier than normal. But yeah, I don't know. I like to race. I like their simulators, and that's why I spend some time with them.
So is the sim that you were on, is that at the shop at Ganassi, or was that at home, or was that the Delaris sim?
So in the morning was the Honda, the HPD sim with all the team and all the engineers there. And that's where we prepare Mid-Ohio. But then when I finished that, I came home and I have my own simulator here at home and I did my iRacing things. So it was 2 different things, 2 different sims, but both simulators.
Love it. Yeah, that's amazing stuff. Is the sim for Honda out in Brownsburg at their place
Yes.
at HTP? Yeah.
Yes.
No, I didn't realize.
Yeah,
it was
right.
up there, yeah.
They're right next to Capco, the drag race team, which are a bunch of maniacs that make so much noise. The people from Honda tell John Force that they need to throw him out all the time. so they're probably over there trying to study and get things lined out, and you've got the Capco boys getting a little wild over there. So.
Well, they're very successful at what they do. That's for sure. Hey, man, let's reel in on the 500. So I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but I spot for Dixon and turn 3. And I know exactly what happened to us, and I know why it happened. But you were not that far behind us. So Stefan spins out, and we go around one time. Obviously, the pits are closed. We come back around, and they tell Scott, you've got enough fuel to make one more lap, because the pits were still closed. And of course, we didn't want to go in and take a splash and lose whatever you lose, 15 spots or so. Track positions being so important now, especially this year, right? So we try to go around one more time, and unfortunately, we miss it by 1,000 foot or something like that. And the thing runs out, and then it doesn't want to start. But you were only a handful of positions back behind us. So were you able to stay out long enough to wait for the pits to open up?
Yeah, I did. That's how we made it. And it was us and Elliot that did it. So we were out and we were able to save some fuel at the beginning. I was saving fuel the first laps. And then we actually had for one more lap after the pits opened. So we were plenty good of fuel.
Wow.
I think just because we were running on those I was running P7 or P8, so having that tow at the end of the straight gave me those extra, maybe 1 gallon. I don't know how much was it, but it was enough fuel to do those laps that I did, and I had one more extra to do.
So I was thinking the same thing. I mean, clearly we led the first lap, but then we fell back to second, I want to say, to start saving fuel as well. But still just running that first lap hard on the throttle, and then even being at P2, I guess. I don't think we were P3. I think we were P2, and maintaining that speed there was the difference in fuel of, like you say, even one lap off pace. And boy, did it was just a huge game changer for us, clearly. And so glad that you didn't get caught up in that deal. It was just bad for everybody.
Yeah, it was quite bad timing. Like, come on, what are the odds that the first yellow? It's like by the end of the first stint, and it's inside the pit lane. It's like, oh, come on, like it was tough for lots of people, but it was bad because we got three cars there, and I was close to getting also that issue. So, yeah, just racing. I was lucky that moment, but yeah, we were able to fight afterwards as well.
So clearly, we struggled there getting the car refired. So we were not near you, but I do remember watching out of the corner of my eye. I would keep an eye on you because you were up in the front. You know, if we can't win it, then we want a team car to win it. And I'm watching you battle with Elio, and I'm like, oh my God, man, this kid's got a legit shot at winning this race. Your composure was second to none, man. I mean, you did not get rattled. You stayed right there. He'd pass you. You'd pass him back. You know, when it was right, I didn't think you were pressing the issue anywhere along the way. I didn't see you taking any unnecessary chances. You were really just letting the race come to you.
Yeah, I don't know. We had a good car. It was a long race, so I took it easy, and suddenly we did really good pit stops. Suddenly I saw that we were P3, and I was like, okay, let's. We still had two pit stops to go, so I said, okay, let's try and see how's our car leading. Like I wanted to see if we were super bad on fuel or if we needed some tweaks. So I said, let's see. Maybe we got a shot at the end. So I was taking it easy. I took the lead, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I like it. Like it was quite good. Like we had a good car. We kept on doing some changes, and then I saw our fuel number, and I said, okay, let's do some running after following Pato and following Elio, and we had some playing there. We did really good two pit stops at the end that gave me the lead like instantly. And I was like, okay, after the last pit stop, I was like, yeah, okay, we got a shot. So I knew I had a faster car than Elio, so that's why I was able to overtake him always in turn three. He would overtake me always in turn one, so right away I would overtake him in turn three. But then I think he either planned it or he had really good timing. But with the tow that he got from traffic, I couldn't get him back, and that was it. Race over.
So just curious, I was on Dixon the year before in 2020 when we finished second, and very well aware of the fuel game that has to be played almost right to the very end. I mean, for us, I think we had maybe 7 or 8 laps to go when they turned him loose. Were you guys playing that same game? Did you still have to check up really late into the race, or did they turn you loose fairly early?
No, to be honest, we were quite good on fuel just because we had that issue with our engine. So we were running an old engine. We didn't have that much Q power lap. So I was running not Q power until the end. So we were super good on fuel because we were not max on power. So that's why at the end, I think once we did our last pit stop, we were right on Q power for all the laps, and we could just go flat out without having to worry too much. So we planned it, or not we, but the team planned it super good. So at the end, we were able to go flat out and try and get that lead and being able to be up there.
So, speaking of Elio, have you watched any of the SRX races?
No, not yet. So just because they did one when we were Road America was the first one, I think, or yeah, or Detroit, and I was
Yeah,
busy,
Detroit.
but I didn't watch any. Yeah, at
You
Detroit,
need to watch.
and
You
yeah,
need
I
to
didn't
watch
watch.
You need to watch the last one where Paul Tracy tries to use him up, and how Castroneves keeps it together at Eldora, which is a fast half-mile high-bank dirt track, is pretty amazing. I mean, I got to tell you, it was watching those guys, Castroneves, PT, he's pretty much almost alienated himself throughout the paddock now.
If he had any friends, they're almost all gone now.
If he had any at all, they're almost completely gone now. And he wrecked Bobby Labonte to the point where he destroyed his car. They think Bill Elliott maybe broke his hand. Don't know. And but I mean, it's just wild. But watching, so Hinch got in one of them too, just to see what it was like when they were all practicing. Maybe one of the best parts of the telecast is where Hinch is actually is doing the show, and we were all at lunch before that. Me, Hinch, PJ Chesson, Marco, and Brandon Bernstein. And Hinch told Tony, he goes, "I'm going to hit you up during a green flag lap on the radio and see how things are going." and
on a
so
green flag lap.
On a green flag, so he's running wide open, and Tony's just talking to him like regular deal, and he goes, "I'm getting ready to teach your little brother a lesson," and then he blew by Marco and kind of just kept on going from there. But it was it's some great stuff, and you know the unbelievable talent that you guys have, and I will say this about all of the professional drivers that I know. I mean, I listen. Tony would race a grocery cart. Okay, I mean, if it just got down to it, he would do it. So, but it's a lot of fun to watch all of you guys, and you know, I was going to ask you. That was one of the things I was going to ask you. So, back here, or you train somewhere here?
Yes, I train physically. I don't train in go-karting or anything. Like, I don't drive anything.
No, but
yeah,
you
I
go to
train
Pit
physically
Fit?
No, I have my CrossFit gym right around like
Okay, that's cool.
5 minutes from home. Yeah.
Dude, CrossFit is tough. But yeah, we know Jim Leo well. That's why we were asking. We always find out who goes where or whatever. But CrossFit is, if you can beat yourself up with that, I think you can pretty well get through a lot of things during the day. So
Yeah, that's why I started this year actually doing CrossFit, and I wanted to go with somebody that didn't had anything to do with motorsport, so he wouldn't take easy on me, and he's not taking it easy on me. Like, sometimes I have to slow him down. Like, hey, like in 2 days I have a race. Like, can we take it easy? Oh no, it's fine. You'll be fine tomorrow.
You'll be fine
So
tomorrow.
yeah, like today I was starting at the sim quite early, and he was like, "Oh, we can go training at 6 a.m. and normally we train at 7 a.m." And I was like, "Man, I don't know. Like, maybe that we don't need it. Like, but it's okay." Like, "No, yeah, I can come at 6 a.m." And I said, "I will do it in the afternoon." "Okay, well, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it. We cannot train at like 6 a.m. like crazy and then go to the sim, and I have to travel to Mid Ohio in a couple of days. Like, we train every day." And he's like pushing me so much, which I love it. But yeah, sometimes we go too much, which is good. It's what we need. It's mentally and physically it helps me.
makes you a champion.
Yeah, great stuff, man. Great stuff. Well, we certainly appreciate you taking the time out to spend with us, and I'll send Kelby a text as well. I appreciate Kelby helping us out as well. I know he's super, super busy, and we constantly push to try and get talent like you on here. And you know, we wanted you on the show actually earlier. As it turns out, waiting a little bit was even better because you grabbed another win. You're leading in the points now, and of course the 500 drama was second to none. We can't wish you more luck, man, going forward. I know you've got a big race here at Mid Ohio. You're with an incredibly good team, and Dixon certainly has found the magic to win at Mid Ohio before. He's a master at saving fuel, so you couldn't be surrounded by better talent, and we wish you the best for sure.
Yeah, I agree. He's the man at Mid Ohio, so it's gonna be interesting. Lots to learn, and yeah, hopefully one of our cars is gonna be at the victory lane on Sunday. So thank you so much for having me at the show, and yeah, hope to see you soon and be at the show again.
All right, bud. I'll say hello here in a couple of weeks, man. By the way, quick little nod. We love watching all you young guns, you and VK, of course,
Colton.
and Palou and Colton, and
Yeah.
I mean the young talent coming up through that series is, oh my God, so exciting for sure. But a quick nod to you, man. Every time I've ever been in the trailer, you always have a smile on your face. You never have ego. You never have not enough time to talk to somebody. So. Keep being yourself, man, because you're an outstanding driver, but you're a better person.
Thank you so much, man. I'm just a normal guy with I'm living the dream every day, so maybe that's why I'm smiling.
Awesome, bud. Okay, best of luck at Mid-Ohio and with a run at that championship.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us here on The Skinny. This episode has been brought to you by Toyota, Rhino Classifieds, Dream Giveaway, and General Tire. For the latest in sunglasses, optical frames, accessories, and apparel, be sure to check out fatheads.com. That's Fatheads with a Z. Production facilities provided by Fatheads Eyewear Studios. All rights reserved.